What happens when you get into debt?
Get out now. Come back with a police officer.
You calm down.
And you can't
I haven't got any money.
or won't pay it back.
Get off on my property.
In this series, we meet the people who are losing their homes.
Hello, would you like to open the door?
Got 24 hours. Find somewhere else to go.
Their cars.
Can you pay this, yes or no?
I can't go with me now.
I'm not going to take your car, sir.
And their possessions.
Can't afford to pay the rent, but £700 telly.
We meet the people who are owed money.
Just got taken advantage of, big time.
And the people whose job it is to collect it.
I don't want to touch that.
Don't panic.
Because when you can't pay, they'll take it away.
Get things wrapped up for transportation.
You pay me, and then I'll start.
Shocking figures from the Bank of England show household debt in the UK is soaring. It has reached record levels and continues to grow. A quarter of UK households now report feeling burdened by debt.
Brian O'Shaughnessy and Graham Aldred are High Court enforcement agents.
You go first, go.
They've been working together for 6 years, seizing property.
I'm going to get the removal vehicles en route because I'm not going to sit here all day.
We're here for an outstanding balance of £3,943.60.
Sorry?
And dealing with unexpected situations.
Just located a cannabis factory, basically,
In the attic.
in the attic.
It does take a certain type of person to become an enforcement agent. There's a lot of emotions run through every job you go to. Every job is different.
It's 3 p.m. And Graham and Brian are on their way to Wembley, North London.
Right, Brian.
What have we got next, mate?
We have got another High Court writ in the name of Mr... I won't even pronounce it.
They are here to collect £3,700 owed to a telecoms contractor. The debtor has ignored demands to pay for over 10 months. But the team now have a High Court writ to collect the debt.
It's gone through a long process. It could be 6 months, it could be 12 months, it could be 2, 3, 4, 5 years. And then we knock on their door and it's got to come to a head. Reality kicks in. No door number here. It's going to be there in here, mate. It's going to be one of these. Playing field or something, isn't it?
The house is on a lane behind 8-foot gates.
That's it there, mate. That's going to be it. Oh, wow. Let's get in there, don't we?
Hey?
Let's make sure I'm in the right place.
I think this is it, but...
Any mail in there?
Yeah.
Confirmed?
Okay, yeah, same.
Oh, lovely.
We were a dog, yeah?
Is it open? CCTV, apparently.
Nice little hideaway, isn't it? It's huge, mate.
No one is home. But there is a 4x4 on the drive.
Car will cover it.
Yeah.
Expensive.
It's in good nick. It's full leather.
When we turn up to a property, you assess everything. You're aware of your surroundings, and that would include the assets. The car was parked on a private driveway, so everything in and around that area, for me, was an asset.
See if I can call him.
Needs to do something.
Graham gives the debtor a call.
Hello? My name's Graham Aldred. I'm High Court enforcement. OK, there's a balance, sir, of £3,711 outstanding. How can you pay this?
I don't know. I can pay the end of this week.
No, sir. I need it paying today.
I haven't got with me. I'm at work.
I've got to remove the car then, sir, to cover the debt.
That's my wife's car.
OK, well, you need to show me a logbook for it then, sir.
It's insurance.
And the insurance.
I haven't got with me. I'm at work, I tell you.
Cool. Let him think about it. It's the first thing people say, isn't it? Oh, it's not mine. What we don't want to do is remove the vehicle and it's hers, and she's the insured driver, because it's not her debt, it's his. So we want to just get the facts before we do anything and take anything, because we don't want to take a third party's goods. How often do people lie to me in this job? Too much. You know, it's all good telling a lie, but we have ways and means to catch them out.
CSAP for back as well?
No, it's quite forward, I thought.
No, it's on the pull, it's behind the pillar, mate.
Yeah?
Usually when they're behind the pillar, like...
Yeah, he's driving it.
Behind it.
4:30 p.m.
It's just a waiting game now.
It's about the wits.
Brian and Graham have been waiting for the defendant to return for 1.5 hours.
Hey.
What?
You hungry?
No, I don't get invited to your barbecues, do I?
Finally, the defendant arrives.
Here we go.
Hello.
Excellent.
He's in no mood to talk.
He's going to come in and walk out then, yeah?
Excellent.
But the defendant just walks away. It looks like he's trying to lock them in.
It's not very smart, is it?
We get threatened quite a lot. That's why we work in pairs. It gives you the backup of if anything's said or anything's violent. There's 2 people there, and 75% of people do show aggression straight away.
It's a game, innit? So you just call the police, Graham?
Yeah. No, you're just being stupid, aren't you?
No, I'm not.
No, you are, yeah. You are. Yeah, you are. There you go. Thank you. No, do you want us to come and chat?
Graham still thinks he can get the defendant to talk, but the situation could turn at any moment.
Keep that gate open, right?
That's all right, don't worry.
Do you want to come and talk? Yeah? That's what we're here for. That's what we're waiting for.
You all right?
Yeah, just grab my hand, that's all.
Why you behave like this? Why? I would prefer every client that I deal with and debtor, specifically debtors, to communicate with me. You know, the worst thing to do is ignore us or the situation, but it's so common. OK, if you try and prevent us doing this, it's actually contempt of court, yeah? Do you understand that?
Keep your eyes open, yeah?
He came in, he was upset, he's seen us, and he's pacing up and down, his legs shaking. It's all, he's just unpredictable for me. I'm not following him about.
No.
Instead of talking, he's just behaving like that.
There's many a time where it can escalate very quickly, and then you need to back out of the property. But if we feel we can talk to that person and diffuse the situation, then that's what we'll do.
You want to talk?
Why don't you just talk to us? Huh? Come sit down, relax.
I can't get your money now. End of the week.
Sit down.
Now.
Sit down. Listen, if you don't communicate with us, we can't resolve it, can we? Yeah? I understand that you're upset, yeah?
But you say if I have
20 minutes after arriving, the defendant finally calms down enough to talk.
Why don't you...
week.
OK,
No. I
listen,
can't get it now.
why don't you make some calls to try and somebody...
On the way here.
OK.
I have so many phone calls.
We don't know, OK?
I did.
I believe you.
Brian wants to know who really owns the car parked on the drive.
So, is this your car or your wife's car?
Mine.
OK. I'm going to seize the car today. Just hear me out first, OK?
Listen to what we've got, sir.
Yeah? And then I'm going to give you 1 week to get the money, OK? And then you can have your car back.
Yeah?
OK?
Yeah.
All right? Cool. Deal. Just sort of the paperwork. I'm going to get onto the office.
The car will be sold to cover the debt if the defendant doesn't pay as promised.
Come to an agreement to take the vehicle and give him 7 days to pay. He said fine. So he's got removal costs, etc. Well, you know, his car's going, he's upset. I understand that. But got to pay your bills. Hello, mate. If I have to take goods to auction, that will be a last resort. I think I can count on probably 2 hands the amount of times I've done it. But I will do it. It doesn't make me feel good at all, but it had to be done.
They must load the car carefully.
Whoa!
Any damage will come out of Brian and Graham's pocket.
Just keep going, a bit more.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, go on.
Ciao.
Yeah, you're out.
Yeah.
The car is now in the High Court's possession.
You'll sign these, sir. Signature and print.
Don't worry, next time, yeah?
He didn't think his vehicle was going today. It was as simple as that. He actually thought that we We were testing the water, but we can't leave the vehicle on site with him because the vehicle will just disappear. We'll never get it back.
It's up to him now what he does, but either way, the client will be happy. He'll get his money, and it's a job well done.
Right.
Recent reports suggest that rises in residential rents are creating a surge in subletting in the UK. As many as 1 in 10 rental properties may be home to unofficial tenants.
High Court enforcement agents Paul Bohill, Steve Pinner and Sam Bayers are on their way to Essex.
I feel as if I know this area. The Evangelical Lutheran Church of the Redeemer.
How do you know what a Luther, whatever that word was?
It was a German pastor, wasn't it?
Oh, was it? Not like tomato and mozzarella.
Yeah.
That's an Italian pasta.
They have a High Court writ to collect £30,000 in unpaid rent on a North London house. The debtor named on the writ sublet the house to other tenants. But the debtor and her husband have not paid any rent to the property owner for 2 years.
We're coming across subletting in a phenomenal scale. Somebody takes the property, rents it onto someone else for a few more pounds, rents it onto someone else for a few more pounds, and then the person who's at the end of the chain is paying their rent and they think everything's fine, only to find that we turn up and maybe number 2 or 3 landlord hasn't paid any money and just put it in their pocket.
The subtenants have alleged to Paul and Steve that the defendants are part of a vicious criminal gang. Paul is expecting a hostile and possibly violent response. So he's brought along ex-military police officer Sam.
Now, we don't know whether just fronting it for a husband or what, but this is why we need you here specifically today, because if there's going to be any aggravation, and there may be, bear in mind they allegedly sent heavies in to get the rent out of these families. That's the story so far.
It would be wrong to say that I don't feel a sense of trepidation or fear in situations, but the day-to-day situations that we get involved with no longer frighten me. And if I'm going to die, I'll die anyway.
Before they confront the defendant and her husband, the team, including Steve's son Ben, want to take every precaution to stay safe.
Are you getting dressed now?
Sorry?
Are you getting dressed?
Oh, I am, because this is Essex, isn't it?
You got a small one for me?
No, the only thing we're missing here is those shields.
No.
And the helmets.
No.
I think we should have them.
No. Yeah, son.
The difference is that we anticipate that the husband is not necessarily going to be a very pleasant character.
The other paperwork, yeah.
They've been doing this for 2 years, so they've collected over 100, we're guessing, £100,000 worth of rent and haven't paid the landlord his 30. So it isn't as if they haven't got the money or haven't had the money. This isn't a hard luck story.
They've traced the defendant to her home in Essex.
Bro, there is somebody in the doorway.
As the team pull up, the defendant's husband is outside on the drive.
Hello. My name is Paul Bowill, a High Court enforcement. We have a warrant against your wife for non-payment of rent.
Yes.
The amount that's outstanding in rent was about £30,000. I mean, have you got any means to pay? I mean, what would you suggest?
I have some Hungarian people who live there.
Yes.
And they didn't pay the rent. That means it's nothing to do with that.
At first glance, the defendant's husband doesn't look like the fearsome thug Paul was expecting.
Well, do you want to go inside to talk?
Yes.
Fine, thank you.
Paul evicted the tenants 2 weeks ago.
The tenants who were there, the Hungarian families, they told us that they were paying you.
We didn't have that money. We never put any money in our pocket.
Yeah. Well, the tenants were paying somebody.
No, it's not true.
No.
That's the problem. It's not true. They was lying. They was on drug. They done what they want. I have to call the police because they nearly punched me. Theoretically, I have
His version of events is very different to what Paul had been told by the tenants.
There's always a story behind the story. We're faced with someone who appears to be genuine, being the oldest and possibly the wisest. On my team, I make the decision as to whether somebody is genuine, and I'll carry the can back if it goes wrong. From what the tenants told us at the house, we thought you were a gangster and you'd meet us here with an AK-47. But you're not. No, you're okay. I'm all right now. I'll take my bulletproof vest off. This isn't how I expected to find it. From the stories that we heard from the tenants, this was going to be a gated mansion in Essex. The people were going to be thoroughly unpleasant and total rip-off merchants. Now, I'm not saying that that isn't partially true, but it's not my first impression.
10 minutes later, the defendant arrives. And she doesn't look much like a gangster either.
She's jumped out of the car and stalled it. I think she might have thought her husband had a heart attack.
The defendant is named on the writ. As she is the original tenant, Paul is instructed to collect £30,000 from her today.
Hello. My name is Paul Bowville. I'm from the High Court. I'm sorry there appears to be a drama here, and the amount on the warrant is actually £30,000. So really, the first and obvious question that I need to ask is, are you able to pay that today?
No.
OK, wrong answer, but we understand where it is. Sorry. After you.
The defendant's husband claims his problems started a year ago when he managed the maintenance team at a local hotel. He housed his workers in the sublet property, but then he lost his job.
Because it was my workers. I never have a problem in that house. But when my job is finished, my maintenance people, they left.
He says he didn't know the tenants who moved in. The new tenants stopped paying rent, and the defendant and her husband stopped paying the landlord.
Do you understand how serious the situation is? I'm not trying to overdo it. I'm just trying to give you the reality check.
Yeah, I'd like to pay this money back, but at the moment I don't know how.
No. OK. I understand that.
The property owner has instructed Paul to use all legal recourse to get the debt settled.
If there isn't a proposal coming forward, and I am instructed anyway to serve a bankruptcy notice on you, and that is that if you don't make a settlement to pay, he could bankrupt you.
It's a very, very bad situation, and it just comes from the sky. I was working 17 years non-stop to get this, and now it looks like everything is gonna go in other people's hands.
Can I make a suggestion?
Yeah.
Put the kettle on.
Yeah, so why not?
If we have a cup of tea, we'll give you as much help as we can.
The High Court team have the power to seize the contents of the house. Ben and Sam do an inventory.
PlayStations, Xboxes, 8 TVs. We've got projectors on the wall. Technical paradise.
But the total value of the goods won't touch the massive £30,000 debt.
Wife okay?
She's stronger than me.
She's stronger than you think.
Yes.
Paul realises the couple face losing much more than just their possessions. They could lose their family home. Anxious to avoid this, Paul begins to explore other options.
How much do we need to offer monthly, or?
I mean, it's a big debt, isn't it? It's the size of a mortgage.
Yes, but how long can we pay this?
What can you afford to pay? It would have to be substantial, otherwise it's not going to keep... The interest is added to the debt at 8% per year. Could you raise another mortgage on the house, for example?
No, you have more money.
It's a problem to be solved. Bear in mind, in many of these situations, I might be the only person in the room who actually knows the extent of the problem that exists and the ways out of it. So everybody else will have a piece of the show, but I will probably be the only person who can actually see the whole picture. What would be helpful to me going forward is that if you could produce an income and expenditure sheet, what you spend and what you earn between you. That gives me an idea of what you can afford to pay. So in other words, we want you to be able to live as you do and not to make any promises that you can't keep. Because I haven't discovered the way to get blood out of a stone. Masterly inactivity, appear to do nothing, but all the time you're making assessments. I would like to think that if I can't produce a result, nobody will.
Paul gives the couple time to arrange their finances. All their possessions are now under control of the court.
I'm scrupulously fair, right? I will never hide anything from you. Yeah, but it's bad news, and that is the contents of the house, the vehicles you've got are under seizure as we speak. But we can allow you to keep them. Nothing changes today at all, to allow you time to take an opinion, solicitor, citizen's advice, do whatever you need to do. We can make an arrangement for me to come back to find out what money you can get together or what arrangements you can make to make payment. You've got my card. Cheerio. Bye-bye. The surprising part of it, if there is a surprising part, is how calm and assured he is. It's like an alien, really. No, he's just so lucky to have a wife like that.
We will do our best to make an offer, because that money is gonna be my heart to save it. Hopefully, he doesn't want our house. I hope.
Fasten your seatbelt.
Research shows that a third of small businesses are reluctant to chase slow-paying customers, often pushing themselves into spiralling debt and failing to meet their own payments.
Nice day today, mate.
Enforcement agents Brian O'Shaughnessy and Graham Aldred are on their way to a dry cleaners in Reading.
We're doing a commercial rent. Good thing about commercial rents is they're there 99% of the time.
We hope they're there.
Commercial rent, that is specifically instructed by the landlord of the property owing. The landlord wants his rent, his money. So they will give us the authority to enforce and send us in to retrieve their debt.
There is,
yes.
There is.
Yeah, I'm trying to find somewhere to park.
The business owes £1,800 in rent. It is 20 days overdue.
That'll do, won't it?
Perfect.
For a lot of small businesses, I think it's a cash flow problem. They're robbing Peter to pay Paul. They're behind on orders. They'll maybe have some business rates they're struggling with, their rent they're struggling with. So it won't be just one specific debt, it will be a few.
If the debtor can't or won't pay today, Brian and Graham can take any equipment he owns to cover the debt.
I'm looking for Aziz Sindoani.
Coming about 20 minutes.
No problem. Can you get him on the telephone, please? Thank you, sir.
Hello?
Hi, is that Aziz Sindoani?
Speaking.
Mr. Sindoani, my name's Mr. O'Shaughnessy. I'm an enforcement agent. I'm here regarding unpaid rent. I've got an outstanding balance of £1,805.
At the moment, business is not so good, sir. I could not pay the rent.
OK, I fully understand your position, OK? You need to understand the landlord's position.
You can give me some time, like 10
No.
years, I can think of that.
No, sir.
You said that you
One more time, sir. Can you pay?
Through now and have a
Sir,
look at your
sir,
items
can you
in
pay
here, sir?
£1,805, sir? Yes or no?
Sir, no, I don't.
Thank you very much, sir. I'm going to seize goods. Right. When we state a possible outcome, it's never an empty threat. It's a strong possibility. It's not something that we want people to necessarily hear, but it's something that they need to understand. This could happen. You know, it's a bargaining tool, so to speak.
Close the shop. I don't want your customers to come in and see what's going on.
So just put it halfway down.
Just here. Always have an escape route. Lovely. Health and safety.
Graham needs to assess if there is anything of value in the shop to cover the debt.
What are you doing, mate? Just making a list, yeah?
Just making a list, yeah.
We understand he's having difficult times. We respect that. But the landlord needs his rent. We don't want to take anything but it's a possibility. If the client instructs us to do that, we have to do it. A lot of people think, oh, you know, enforcement agent, you're all horrible people, but we actually take instruction from our clients a lot of the time. I don't think these keys have been moved for a while, mate. I don't think they've been doing the key cutting. Oh, mate, this stuff's ancient. Look at it. I used to clean it. It's like rubby in here.
The value of the equipment would not cover the cost to remove it. Mr. Sindami, the business owner, is struggling in his first year of trading.
I do feel for small businesses. For them to try and get through that first year is hard. We try and get it sorted where they can afford to get the debt paid and carry on, obviously, trading.
Brian and Graham have been waiting 90 minutes at the laundrette. The equipment is old and of little value, so Brian and Graham turn their attention to another asset.
10 minutes away.
Do you want me to sit in the van? See what's come out?
Yes, see where he comes up there.
Brian and Graham have no option but to wait for the owner to arrive. They want to know what car he's driving. If it's valuable, they can seize it, but only if they see where it's parked. Paul Bowhill, Steve Pinner and his son Ben are back in Essex. They are on their way to a job that will test their sympathies. They have a High Court writ to evict a single mother from her home.
The lady living here has been living here for 2.5 years. She had 2 children in that time. Hasn't paid rent since December.
5 months.
Yeah, plus 5%.
She owes over £6,000 to her landlord. But today, Paul and the team are not here to collect the debt. They are here to evict her.
You got a dog?
Oh, Paul's got to go with this one. He's
What
a dog
do,
man.
sir?
No one appears to be home, except an angry-sounding dog.
What are you doing?
Just try.
You.
Paul talking, becoming a dog whisperer now. He's talking to the dog.
No, that's enough. Our nightmare is breaking into a property, finding there are dogs on the premises, which means we've then got to feed and water them till we can track down the tenant.
You should carry doggy treats. Anybody got any sweeties? Oh, you've got your sandwich, haven't you? I'll just get a ham sandwich for the dog.
I've got a dog. Yeah, but she sleeps with my wife and I sleep on the floor.
The team search for any open windows or doors to gain easy access to the house.
They're all pretty tight.
We'll just break in. Authorised under the warrant.
Ben calls the tenant.
Paul, shall I give her a ring?
Yeah.
Hello?
Yeah?
Your property's being repossessed today, I'm afraid.
No, I had an eviction notice to come through.
The matter's been transferred to the High Court. When it gets transferred to the High Court, you do not get a letter, I'm afraid.
I've got nothing packed.
OK. Are you near?
I'm in the house.
Open the house. No, but let's talk to you.
The tenant has been hiding in an upstairs bedroom for the past 50 minutes.
She's in the house. She's in there. Yeah, I'm listening, All right.
At ages ago, if I would have known it.
Look, come down, open the door, and we'll talk. But
yeah, I've got 2 small children.
All right, that's fine. I'm completely aware. But can you just put the dog away for me? Because I'm...
Yeah.
All right, come down. We'll come and talk to you now.
The tenant knew she was going to be evicted,
This is my colleague Paul.
but not today. And Paul must now break the bad news.
Just sit down a second, I'll explain the situation to you.
Girls, you can come down if you want. I would have packed all my stuff up.
This county court action has been changed to the High Court, so there's no notice, we just turn up as you find it.
They said, because they've told me wrong, obviously.
They have, yeah.
Because they just said, oh, you can stay and you'll get an eviction letter. And that will give you a further 4 weeks.
That's right. Now, that's if it was going to continue to be dealt with under the county court rules, but the landlord has chosen to speed things up, and he's changed it to the High Court. So that's what brings us here today. You won't be able to stay here tonight, so I would suggest you start off by ringing the council immediately while we're still here, so that you can then pass them over to us, and then we can explain the contrary to everything they've told you. We're here now to evict you today. We're in the front line every day. It's just the same every day. They say don't do anything for 4 weeks. It's all right, don't panic. Nobody will come banging on your door. They also advised her not to answer the door to anybody. So they've actually created the drama that we had this morning.
Paul must continue with the eviction.
How long have I got to get out today?
As long as you need, a couple of hours at least, you know what I mean? Because you just need what you need for today. You know, the upsetting bit's over now.
I am, I'm upset with the cat.
No,
I don't want to use.
No, I understand. I understand. So there's we're not
No one's going to come in here and touch all my stuff.
No. So please don't walk away from the thought that we're going to collect all your stuff up and throw it out in the street. It doesn't happen. It really doesn't.
The fact that tenants are waiting until we're on the doorstep isn't because they want to, it's because they're told to by the council. The situation they're putting the tenants in, living a life thinking when they're going to come knock at my door. It's not fair on no one, especially if they have children.
The tenant's stepfather arrives. He heard someone was trying to break in.
Hello there. Hi, you all right? Yeah. We have a repossession order to take possession of the place today.
I'll come over here quite sharpish, expecting there to be some form of trouble.
In practical terms, is there somewhere she can stay tonight and or whatever?
Yeah, obviously that's my absolute first priority.
The tenant says her problems started 10 months ago, after the council cut the benefits she used to pay the rent.
You've not paid the rent for a while?
I've had trouble with HM Revenue, accusing me of having someone else live here.
Oh, right. Yeah.
They were right, we're suspending your payments.
Right.
I mean, I work part-time, and it's not just £50, I'm talking about £400 a month.
Yes.
I was without.
It's a crazy world we live in, and
Yeah.
all these people are conspiring to throw you out on the street. They're doing a benefit inquiry, so they stop her benefit. She stops paying the rent, the house is repossessed, the council have to rehouse her. Does anybody actually follow this story right through? It's just crazy, isn't it?
That's how sick of your voice already.
Contrary to our reputation, we will leave you to get used to the idea. We'll go and have a coffee somewhere and come back in 2 hours. We've got the keys to the property, so you can't...
And no one can come in and take my stuff, because I would have paid for it.
No, I understand. No, we'll have the keys. Today we've got someone who's very emotional. It's a very distressing situation. It just needs a slight change in the rules to make it work properly. We haven't got a problem leaving the place open. It's just that we can't give you the keys back.
The family are now homeless.
People with the legal responsibility to deal with those that have been made homeless, those authorities need to deal with that situation. It needs to be done with smartly. Said now, everybody's got to run around like lunatics to try and sort out a problem that's been created by other people.
The number I've given you, my phone number, it's on all the time. We're going to go now.
Right, okay.
We'll come back at 4 o'clock.
OK, all right.
Thank you very much. This goes beyond the bounds of the official repossession. I'm not going to stand by here and see the woman harassed and her stuff dumped in the street. It just doesn't happen. Not with this team. I would never allow it.
Brian O'Shaughnessy and Graham Aldred are at a dry cleaners in Reading. They are waiting for Mr. Sindami, a businessman who owes £1,800 in rent. He claims he can't pay, so Graham is in his van waiting to identify Mr. Sindami's car when he arrives.
I've got Graham sitting across the road, waiting for him to pull up, and he'll be seeing where he pops in from. Sometimes they park around the corner and they walk in, and they don't come in the vehicle they're driving. So some of them are quite clued up. Try and use it as a bargaining tool to try and get it resolved. You try to be a step ahead.
If it's worth money, they can seize it to offset the debt.
He's there. Watch out. What's he driving?
Mr. Sindami finally arrives.
How are you?
I'm fine, thank you, sir.
Thank you so much for coming.
No problem.
Come in, come in, come in, come in.
The car is not the bargaining tool they'd hoped for.
£700, reality, probably £200–300. It's not worth taking.
Okay, but he doesn't know that, so let's just... Thank you for coming back so soon.
I wanted to come early
No, it's
today
fine.
morning.
Don't worry, don't worry, don't worry.
But because I could not make it on time, that's why you have to wait for me.
That's fine. We're here. We waited. Okay?
Mr. Sindami has no assets, but still owes £1,800. So Brian wants him to pay £900 today and agree to a payment plan for the rest.
I came here and I asked you for £1,800. Hang on. Now I've asked you for £900. So I'm working with you.
I know, but if I'm trying to explain you something.
Listen, I don't need to know your full circumstances, but I understand it's not easy, and the first year in business is always the hardest. But
It's not hardest.
Hang on.
It's like people are trying to cheat me as much as they can. They think that I'm in the business.
What do you mean they're cheating you?
When I came into the shop, the machine was bad. Bad means it was not workingable, right? The wall was bad. I started working on it, tried to repair. Everybody, I can call the engineer. They charge as if I've got millions in my pocket.
But the landlord wants their rent. You must understand
that.
If you
I
was
agree with that.
If you was in the landlord's position,
I understand
you may do the same thing.
I understand that.
Okay.
Sir, I have got £300 at the moment.
Fantastic. It's a start, isn't it? Yeah. You need to get another 600. You need to work with me.
Hi, this is Aziz here. I was trying to call you if you can lend me some money. Bailey people have come to seize the shop, so if you can help me with that. I was not expecting my landlord to send someone to get the money, but then here I am with them. I have got very strong feeling that before I bought this shop, someone else got the shop. He died because of heart attack, but I think so one day I will get heart attack because no one can bear pressure. No one can. They are putting pressure on you, do or die. If you can give me 2-3 days time, I will pay you. Because at the moment I don't have any money in the bank.
Mr. Sindami is struggling to raise any money. Brian and Graham need a change of plan. They must look to recovering the debt in the future.
I think we're flogging a dead horse here. So I'll give him another 10 minutes, see if we can raise this £900. If not, I think we just give him a week to get the 900 and then another week to get the rest of it.
2 weeks originally.
Yeah.
Please.
Another creditor.
Please.
Just tell him you're calling back in 10 minutes. Tell him you're calling back
Can you please call me in 10 minutes, please?
Okay, so what I'm going to do for you, okay? I think you're having a very difficult time here. I'm going to give you 1 week to get me £900, okay? Yeah? And then the following week, £900 again. But you have to stick to that agreement, okay? I'm not saying pay me £900 in a week, and you're pulling faces at me.
No faces. I'm just trying to read. I'm trying to...
Hang on.
I'm trying to understand how am I going to
That's fine.
solve this.
Well, you've got a week to solve that. You've got a week to do what you need to do. If there's a situation where we're on a job and the debtor can't pay at all, we sit down, we communicate, you know, I empathise, I listen, and I'll make a judgment call. So that all comes down to using discretion and weighing up the whole situation.
Brian gives Mr. Sindami time to raise the money, but any goods he does have will be under their control.
We want you to do well in business. You just work with us. I'm happy you'll pay it. And if you don't, I'll have to come back.
I will not let you do that.
All right?
I like to see you, but I don't...
We're going for a drink next time, yeah? No problem.
Not this way.
You sign this, sir?
Have a sit down, have a quick read.
Just sign and print in there, sir.
And then you can open your shop up, OK?
Any result is a good result. A payment plan is perfect.
OK, we're going to go out this way so your customers don't see us going out the front, OK? That's for you. Listen, shake my hand one more time.
The creditor's happy and the defendant's happy.
OK, bye-bye. God bless.
Bye-bye.
I will try my best to pay all the money. But this year, no one can say how much business I will get and how much it will be. If I have got the money, I need to pay, that's it. But if I don't have the money, then what?
High Court enforcement agents Paul, Steve and Ben are in Essex. 2 hours ago, they told a single mum that she had to move out of her home of 2.5 years. They gave her some time to pack and get emergency housing for the night. Now, they're back to finish the job.
So we've cream caked it, had tea, and we're ready to go. Knock, knock.
The tenant's stepdad is helping her and her children to pack some belongings for the night.
Good timing is all I say on that.
What's the story so far, then?
Right, that's the council wall. I've got a
Back in your passport.
for it's a hotel the other side of Basildon.
Oh, nice.
Is it a nice hotel?
The tenant does not know how long she will be forced to stay in the hotel.
Obviously, being a hotel, you know, with 2 children, how can somebody be expected to live like that? She's got washing to do. She needs to sort of feed and dress them, take them to school and such like. Just you cannot live in a hotel room, simple as that.
The tenant will need to return in the next few days for the rest of her belongings.
Do you want to anything carry out your car, or are you OK? No. Got to go in the car, have you? Going for a ride?
3 hours after starting, the eviction is complete.
It's a shame. It's 2 little kids, lovely kids. Not a perfect scenario, but never is.
The tenant must wait to hear if she will be given a more permanent home. Her family's future is now at the mercy of the council.